Hey there you guys, what's up? This is the TTArtisan 56mm f1.8 for the Nikon Z mount. I also have the X mount. I've had it for a long time. Now we have the Z mount in the house. I call these lenses the hero lenses. I'll explain why. I'm going to tell you why I call them that. We're going to go over the lens, and then towards the end of the video, I'll show you guys a lightly edited sample gallery where all the pictures are ones that I took with this lens. Let's get into it. So in the box you have the lens, some paperwork, the lens cap, and this pretty cool retro styled lens hood. I think a lot of people are going to like this. Now, I call this lens the hero lens because, like many of us who have saved up for months, maybe even years, to save up for that camera body that we've always wanted, the month finally comes, we finally have enough to pick up the body for the new camera system that we've wanted, and we do it. It's great, but you could barely afford the body only. And it's like, man, I wish I could buy a lens that's still good, but it's also very cheap. That would be like my hero right now. That's this guy, the hero lens. So after you blow all your money on the new camera and you got barely any money to spend left and you want a really decent prime lens that's super affordable, this is it. Spoiler alert, this thing really is like that good. It's pretty dang good. It punches so far above its weight class of $129. They could easily charge double and nobody would bat an eye. But yes, you heard that right, $130 USD. This is the place where I always wanted camera lenses to be when I was just getting into it half a decade ago. So thank you, TTArtisan, for creating these hero lenses. We needed them and you did it. All right, let's go through the specs really quick. So as mentioned, this is a 56mm on APS-C image circle. So you're looking at about an 85 full frame. So 85 f1.8, born to be a portrait lens. Maximum aperture at f1.8, minimum aperture f16. Yes, it can do sunstars. It is an autofocusing lens. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10 as far as quickness, maybe 7.5 to 8. And it's not silent, but it's near silent. It's quiet. So not perfectly silent, but it's nothing near anything distracting, which is good. Looking at a 52mm filter size, and this guy can focus as close as 0.5 meters. It features 9 diaphragm blades and has an optical design of 10 elements in 9 groups. It's available for the X mount, the Z mount, and also the E mount. By the way, drop a comment, which team are you, Sony, Nikon, or Fuji? And as far as the weight goes, it weighs roughly 240 grams. Other unique aspects that I want to go over when it comes to this lens, as far as the build quality, it is an all metal barrel, so it does feel like it's well built. And as you guys can see, the flange, the mount, is quite a bit larger than my X mount version because the Z mount is much larger. So you can see on the X mount it comes in, and then on the Z mount it flares out a little bit. But that's okay. Next up, notice that there is no gasket on here. So it's not weather sealed at all, which is a shame. I know it's 130 bucks. It already feels like a steal, but me personally, I would pay an extra 10 bucks or so, even an extra 15 bucks just to have a gasket around there. Me personally, I would like to have that. I wouldn't mind paying a little bit extra. But regardless, no gasket. Now, unlike some of the other third-party lens manufacturers to where they're putting the Type-C plug-in for firmware updates on the mount, TTArtisan has instead opted to go with a rather unique design. It has what I'm going to call a smart lens cap, where it has a Type-C plug-in right there and little connectors. When you put it on the lens and slide it over, the connectors will connect and you can actually plug the lens in to your computer from here and do whatever firmware updates. I think the idea is very cool. I think the implementation is pretty cool as well. My only concern that I have noticed personally, and this is with the X mount or whatever, as you use lenses and cameras and whatnot, sometimes lens caps get moved from one lens to another or whatever. Sometimes when you're using this lens, let's say, and you take off the lens you were using before, and if you want to put a cap on the lens that you were using, instead of it having a standard lens cap, like there's a Viltrox one. So you could throw the TTArtisan cap on to any Z mount, but the one thing that makes it kind of iffy for me is these conduits will also rub onto these connectors. And my concern is that will gradually create unnecessary wear because, you know, these ones aren't designed to have those contacts rub up against them time after time after time. Also, last little suggested area of improvement is even though it's on there and it does kind of click, it still feels kind of loose. Not the best feeling, but I will say I've never had it fall off or anything like that. So it's just a tiny bit loose. Okay, let me show you what it looks like on my camera. Okay, we've got it on my Z50 Mark II. So this is what it looks like. Very comfortable, still very well balanced. And the barrel isn't so wide that it rubs against your fingers or anything like that. By the way, this lens does have a decent amount of focus breathing. So if you're considering buying this for video purposes, be aware of that. It is a fact. Overall distortion on the lens is very well contained. I'm actually surprised. At a price point like this, I would expect the distortion control to be abysmal, but it's not. They made it a truly great lens. The flare that this lens produces is pleasing to my eye. I think it has good character. It's soft and kind of adds a little bit of character. I know not everybody likes that, but I do sometimes. Also, this lens does suffer from significant vignetting, especially at f1.8, f2, even f2.8. It doesn't really completely go away until like f4 or f5.6. So be aware of that. But again, it's almost like a desirable trait to some people, considering it's a portrait lens. You can correct it in post. There is slight chromatic aberration, but again, I am surprised how well subdued it is. That again is another significant aspect of this lens that would either make or break it. And again, this lens does a good job. It is slight, it is there, but the coatings they use do a great job. I almost can't believe the performance we're getting at $130. Now, as far as sharpness goes, sharpness again is good. Another aspect that would make or break a camera lens, it passes. It's tack sharp in the center, of course wide open. It's softer in the corners. That's to be expected. Okay, now in terms of the bokeh that this lens produces, I'm gonna give it like an 8 out of 10. It's not super busy, but I find that it also doesn't have a wildly substantial amount of character to it as well. It can definitely separate your subject from the background. There's no question to it. Again, the f1.8 bokeh separation is there. That along with the lack of distortion, it's really hard to complain about a $130 lens. Next up, let's take a look at some of the pictures that this lens produced.